Next up, then, is a comedy that returned to viewing figures that I think the BBC were hoping the Generation Game might get. Over 20 million people watched the return of Roseanne on ABC. Of course, this is partly nostalgia, it's partly curiosity to see how they open the first episode after that bizarre 9th series where John Goodman was dead and they'd not won the lottery and Roseanne had written a book. They've already confirmed that on top of the 10 episodes they'd planned for this series, there will be another one in September as well. So those sort of figures, you can't blame ABC for grabbing hold of and sticking with Roseanne.
In the history of television, no family was quite like the Connors.
Are you ever sorry we got married?
Every second of my life.
Nothing has changed.
I thought you were dead.
Why does everybody else think I'm dead?
The family that looks like us.
What are you doing with my pictures?
I'm getting rid of the ones where you guys were fat.
Those are the only ones where we look happy.
Lives like us.
Can I have some money?
I don't know. Mom, can I have some money?
I don't know. Can I have some money?
And laughs like no one else.
Classics really do hold up.
I remember it being quite an inventive series. I think they did do some sort of fantasy episodes and stuff like
I
that.
remember
It was
those,
quite controversial, you know, they didn't shy away from talking about sort of sensitive subjects and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really rated Roseanne Barr as an actress, but I think she was a good writer on it. She was surrounded by a good sort of central cast.
Even as a young kid, when we would watch this on, I don't know, Channel 4 here, and then I think I must have watched it on TBS or something in the States, I knew Laurie Metcalf was a real talent, and you know, she's somebody who really lifts it whenever she turns up. Sarah Gilbert's very good as well, and this reunion came about because Sarah Gilbert, who is now on a talk show called The Talk in the States, and Sarah did a sketch with John Goodman, and it did really well, and she pitched to ABC the idea of bringing Roseanne back. We are living in an age, of course, where the US and the UK to an extent are rebooting favourites from the past. The premise of this first episode was that Jackie and Roseanne had a falling out, which transpired to be about Roseanne's voting for Trump and being all for Trump as the real life Roseanne Barr is herself. Sarah Gilbert's character Darlene is back with her young son and teenage daughter to look after Roseanne and Dan in their later years.
Played by the daughter's
Goodman.
played by I was going to say the daughter is played by Emma Kenny, who was in the American Shameless.
Playing the Debbie character.
Yeah,
I believe,
Debbie, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember the name.
US. Her son Michael, or is it Michael? Mark. It's Mark.
I think the term is gender fluid.
Yes, okay. So that's something that Roseanne is on board with, but John Goodman is not so keen on. And then the third story is that Becky, the older daughter, is going to donate her eggs and be a surrogate for a woman of the same age who wants to have a baby. That woman being Sarah Chalke, who played Becky in the later series of Roseanne, which I thought was a clever way of bringing them back together. I did think that was clever because it had been rumoured that literally everyone was coming back, and I was interested and intrigued to see how they would get around that. There were some laughs in this. I did enjoy it. 2 episodes aired in the States on ABC on the same night, and I did say to Matt, we can watch both if you want to. In the end, I just felt compelled just to watch that one. I didn't feel like I wanted to continue. I had seen a lot of trailers for this just on YouTube, and as is often the case, a lot of the best gags or memorable bits from it were scattered among those trailers. But on the whole, I feel like this was focused a lot on what America is like today, and that is in a way harder for a UK audience to relate to with all the Trump and Hillary
But then
stuff.
I think it always was about that to an extent.
Yeah, no, it always was.
Roseanne came roaring back Tuesday night. Over 18 million viewers tuned in, making it the most watched sitcom in almost 4 years.
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
I think it's the same thing that resonated the first time around, which was Roseanne was one of the only shows on the air at that time that didn't polish everything to make it look perfectly played out.
Yeah.
Like, it felt a little rough around the edges and a little more real. And I think they're continuing that with their same edgy sarcasm.
Well, yeah,
That's
but-
what families deal with.
But they plugged into what's going on in the country right now, which is that in families, when you're a Trump voter versus a Trump hater, there's a lot of friction and a lot of fights within the family.
There might be separate Thanksgivings.
And that's that's what the show is about, and it caused an uproar in the ratings. And and he called Roseanne to congratulate her because he's a ratings whore. You know that. He loves ratings. He knows ratings. Yeah. And, we do too. He may be lousy for women, immigrants, and the economy. Maybe we'll see, but he's really good for TV.
I think the performances from John Goodman, Laurie Metcalf, Sarah Gilbert are all very good. But it does feel like now these rebooted sitcoms have to go. Yes, it's like, it's 2017, 2018 now. We're in the midst of Trump because Will and Grace did the exact same thing. Their first episode was literally they went to the White House in the first episode.
Yeah.
I don't think I would watch this even if it did sort of come over here at some point.
I don't think I would either.
But as you say, it is a very sort of American-centric show on the whole. I did like the Sarah Chalke thing as well. I associate her more with playing Becky than the other actress.
As far as reboots go, it was perhaps one of the better ones.
Yeah, inoffensive.
I do find the inevitable sort of winks to the camera and winks to the past slightly annoying.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that thing where they're in the garage and they find that manuscript that was like the
I'd
last
rather
season.
they didn't mention those
and
things,
it's and there's that thing about you killed off the this wasn't successful because you killed off the best character sort of thing. Essentially drawing a line under the Dan death.
No word on whether this will get a UK broadcaster. I'm sure it will. Whether it will be a terrestrial channel, maybe Channel 5 have
I
had
think 5
enough
might.
success
I think 5
with-
will pick it up.
I feel like the reason Channel 4 didn't go with Will and Grace is because they've moved in a different direction as a channel and just felt like Will and Grace didn't fit, and I don't think they'll think this fits either anymore. But yeah, I could see it on 5 or 5 USA, just after a Jane McDonald, singing special.
Jane McDonald and Friends, is it? Or
Yeah.
Cruising with Jane McDonald?
Yeah,
Or
one of the Jane McDonald trio.
Celebrity 5 Go Barging.